summit that we're having today needs to look at these issues seriously because they support trade and investment. But lastly, it would be amiss of me not to raise the issue of conflict resolution and mediation. In any relationship, as we know, there are always possibilities of not seeing things the same way. How do we build mechanisms for conflict resolution in order to remove mistrust among ourselves as business people? Program Director, as I close, South Africa is on a path to grow its agricultural sector and other sectors as part of the economic reconstruction. In our view, the agricultural sector, as is in Uganda, still has a greater role to play in addressing key challenges of unemployment, poverty, and low growth in our countries. And in this process of building and expansion, we strive to strengthen collaboration on the aspects that I've raised earlier. And above all, we believe that South Africa and Uganda, with a solid base of good friendship amongst the two countries, we have the possibility to succeed. I thank you.
Let's give a big hand clap to the Honorable Minister, Honorable Didiza. I think she has delivered, as Excellency had said. She's delivered quite, you've actually delivered triplets on this one. The context of the liberation struggle, you may wish to know that many of us were students with the liberation struggle movement, the PSC, the ANC, and in reciprocation we went back and also studied in Eastern Cape. So I think that the South African-Uganda fraternity has a long history. I think just to put some light on what the Honorable Minister said, we have a very enabling environment. Number one taxpayer, MTN, South African breweries, Stanbic Bank, they have found a very good home in Uganda, and obviously we wish to have a reciprocation in your country to create that. Thank you very much. I wish to recognize in a special way the Uganda Business Forum in South Africa, led by Mr. Kenneth Kakuru and your team. Could you please stand for recognition? Kenneth was pretty much behind the genesis of this big event that we started last year that culminated in the conference in February and March, and obviously what we are experiencing now. So thank you, Kenneth, and your team. You are doing a good job flying our business flag in South Africa. So now we move to another section of the Ugandan government representation. Not long ago, a very distinguished gentleman, Mr. Paul Omoru, was appointed High Commissioner to South Africa and the Southern African states. Ambassador Paul has done an incredible job in flying our flag. He has introduced us to many companies, institutions in South Africa. He's one of the very distinguished ambassadors you can call late in the night. He'll pick your phone and assist you. And to a great extent has been a pillar in ensuring that these two conferences and summits have become successful. It's my singular honor and pleasure to invite Ambassador Paul Omoru to come and give his remarks, and thereafter invite a distinguished Minister of Uganda, Honorable Bright Ramirama, who himself has done a great job in this country. He's a freedom fighter, but he's also now a big bulwark in ensuring that our country has a successful agricultural enabling environment. Your Excellency Omoru, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, the Program Director. I want to recognize the Leader of Delegation from the South African side, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, and your colleagues. Allow me as well to recognize the Leader of Delegation from Uganda, the Honorable Bright Lamurama, my sister, the High Commissioner of South Africa to Uganda. It's a pleasure to have you here. Senior officials from the two governments, Ugandan government and the South African government. Before I introduce the minister, I will have to mention a few of those departments that have not been highlighted by previous speakers. Allow me to recognize our sponsors, starting with MTN for the great job and being a true market leader, and now helping to bring Uganda and South Africa much more closer than ever before. I salute you and thank you for all the support, and the rest of the sponsors that have been listed here. In the interest of time, I would not name all of them. Program Director, permit me to especially recognize some specific departments, starting with South Africa. We have the Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition. We call it DTIC. And I've seen Chief Director, Comrade John Rocha is in the house. DTIC has done a great job, starting with the first trade mission we had in South Africa in February, where they hosted at Gallagher in South Africa. Let's give an applause to DTIC. I also want to recognize our colleagues from DIRCO, as we know it, Department of International Relations and Cooperation, because for me to be able to function effectively in South Africa, I actually work on a daily basis with the DIRCO, and I'm happy that Ambassador Bugane is here himself, who has been in charge of East Africa, and also the desk for Uganda, Madame Sepia. I think she's in. So let us give these people a big applause as well. I know there are already other departments that have been mentioned, agriculture, ICT, and the rest. And coming to Uganda, I want to recognize Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ambassador Eli is here. He has been coordinating in those many meetings that we have had that Comrade John Rocha was chairing online. Ambassador Eli, thank you for coordinating the team within Uganda. I also recognize Ministry of Trade, Export Promotions Board, Uganda Investment Authority, PASAID, and Private Sector Foundation Uganda. They have worked closely with us, and I want to thank you so much for making this day a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, like it has been observed, this summit is possible today because of the strengthened and now deepened bilateral ties between Uganda and South Africa. That's the Joint Commission for Cooperation that DIRCO and MOFA are championing, and the JCC provides a framework or the space that allows all the other sectors, including issues of trade, investment, and tourism, to be discussed coordinated at a government-to-government level. And from last year in July, when Uganda first hosted the second leg of the JCC, so much has happened, and it built up to the state visit that we were able to have in South Africa in February, and a major business summit that both our presidents were able to attend. I am happy to see that just a few months after that, with the commitment and support from our partners, especially MTN that had promised during the business breakfast meeting with our president at Waterkloof, we have been able to have the second leg take place with government coming in to give an enabling environment. Because I think the key function for government is to create an enabling environment for our business people to thrive, because they know how to do business and how to make money and how to grow our economies. And as it has been alluded to by my sister, Ambassador Lulu, issues of business environment were discussed in South Africa, and I'm aware that we were able to have deeper discussions with the senior officials and a ministerial meeting that focused also on seeing some of the impediments that has been slowing down our cooperation, especially in the area of trade and investment. And one of those areas surely has also been the issue of visas. And fortunately, as you have heard from the High Commissioner herself, we had the Director General from Home Affairs from South Africa, and that was the highest level of commitment that the South African side was able to exhibit. They have been here, they have interacted with the Internal Affairs team, and we have agreed on a roadmap, which I believe in the coming few months, the details of that will be agreed, and the business people that intend to go to South Africa, and also South African businesses that are coming to Uganda, will have it easy to make their schedules and business plans. I am sure the team that traveled to Uganda from South Africa, we kept getting calls, and now I was in the shoes of my sister, and I think some of the visas, with support from Internal Affairs, we were able to issue them in 2 hours to enable the team from South Africa to come. And I think this is one of the key areas that we are going to look forward to. Program Director, allow me to recognize the Ugandan diaspora. In the mobilization building up to this summit, I engaged the Ugandan team in South Africa. And during that meeting, many were saying, I have been here 20 years, I've been here 30 years, I've been here 15 years. Then I said, all right, now we need to have the true value for the many years you have spent within South Africa, the networks you have been able to build, so that we can leverage on that and be able to mobilize and bring many companies from South Africa, but also now begin to see the Ugandan business community entrenching themselves and investing also heavily in South Africa. And so we have Comrade Phillips, who is here with us. We have Comrade Norman. Norman is the magician. I have worked with him, and with Norman alone and a few other people, we were able to mobilize over 30 companies. That is building on what else was happening within MTN, within DTIC, and the rest. So Norman has led a big team here, and I want to thank him very much. I also want to recognize Uganda's trade representative to South Africa. And the MONSIs were identified under the framework of PASAID. And Arif Monsi, who is now our trade rep, has also made a decision to invest within the country. And they will be putting up the first Ugandan electronic hub for the manufacturing of transformers. And they are working closely with Yuri, Professor Kwesiga. And when you go to the stall, you will find that they are going to do an exhibition jointly. And I think as of yesterday, we were working around to clear the transformers they have shipped. That will be also displayed there. I want to thank URA for helping this process to be smooth. And as I end in recognizing the team in South Africa, I want to recognize also my sister, Bridget, who is here. And I'm happy she has been able to bring our Muko with her. And a team of South African business people. I traveled with some late last night. They are doing a great job. And especially, she's coordinating efforts from Private Sector Foundation Uganda. And again, so as you can see, a team is being built up. And I want to end by saying my expectation, and I think it should be all our expectations, is that this does not just become an event. That we come, we display so much cooperation, so much support, and then after tomorrow, there's nothing to follow through. We think that this, we have more steps ahead of us. This is just one or two or three of the steps out of 1,000 steps we are supposed to make. And I have talked with colleagues from DTIC, and I am sure there is this commitment, and with the presence of the political leadership from South Africa, this will be an annual activity where we are able to have the Uganda-South Africa Trade Summit in South Africa, and also have one in Uganda. So I believe that with the support from all the partners that are here, we are going to every year build on the success that we have already registered since February. And finally, the Ugandan community in South Africa, let me say Southern Africa, we are estimating should be about a million now. And many of the businesses were not registered. That's why we were able to just show a few when we met last time in South Africa. And when my sister asked me, Ambassador, can you provide a list of the Ugandan businesses in South Africa, I was struggling to go beyond 5 or 10. But I think by the time we end here with the team that has come, we are confident that in the next summit, we are going to see a heavy presence of Ugandan businesses in South Africa, with many already being cleared to start exporting into South Africa. There is a unique group that should also be recognized. These are the Ugandan professionals. And Dr. Ichun, who is sitting right behind there, you can wave. I was able to mobilize. We have so many Ugandan doctors, Ugandan engineers, the professionals to say. And we also put them together to see what contribution they are able to make towards this effort. And he has led a group of about 6 senior professionals and other companies within South Africa with a mega project that they will be discussing during the course of our stay here. So thank you so much, Doctor, for finding time to come and be part of this great summit. I believe at the end of the day, we'll be given opportunity to give you a more detailed overview of the Uganda-South Africa bilateral relations. So during the dinner, we will have some time to give you in details, but I want to thank all of you for making time to be here, and I hope that our friends from South Africa, you're going to find space and time to enjoy Uganda. Within diplomacy, we are now promoting very much also people-to-people contact, because if governments only relate and the people are not in touch, then that relationship will be on shaky grounds. So please have time to interface and enjoy the stay here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my humble task to introduce to you the leader of the Ugandan delegation. I don't have the privilege, like my sister, Ambassador Lulu, who seemed to have known the Honorable Minister from way back and was able to share fond memories from way back, but I will give you a brief profile of our minister. The Honorable Bright Ramurama holds a degree of Bachelor of Business Administration, which he secured in 1996, and he has a Master of Business Administration. This he secured in 2004 from Makerere University, and a PhD in Public Administration and Management. He also attended the British Junior Staff College, studying the Junior Command and Staff course, and the Naval Postgraduate School, studying at the Resource Management course. He obtained certificates from both courses. From that background, you see that the Honorable is a veteran and a senior freedom fighter in this country. His career, which I will briefly share with you, from 1978 until 1983, the Honorable Minister worked as a banking officer at the Uganda Commercial Bank, the institution that later became Standing Bank. We saw the CEO. I don't know whether they knew that the Honorable Minister was once. They are very committed and resilient officer. In 1983, he joined the National Resistance Army, that we know as NRA, and in the bush war, or the liberation struggle of Uganda between 1980 and 86, he played a key role and was appointed to be in charge of pay in the NRA in 1986, serving that capacity until 1989. In 1989, he was promoted to Director of Finance in the NRA, which was renamed Uganda People's Defense Force. In 1995, he continued to serve in that position at the Army headquarters until 1997. The Honorable Minister continued to serve as one of the senior staff officers at the UPDF headquarters until 2001, where he retired from the armed forces at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. The minister then joined active politics and contested for the parliamentary seat of Isingiro County North in Isingiro district. Because of his stellar performance, he has remained loved and voted by his people, and he continued to win re-elections all through until he was appointed Minister of State for Animal Industry in June 2006, a position he has continued to hold to date. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the brief I can offer you at this moment, and allow me now to humbly take the opportunity to invite the Honorable Bright to come and give his presentation. You're welcome, sir.
Honourable Minister Toko Didiza, Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform, Rural Development, and leader of the delegation from the Republic of South Africa. Honourable Minister Mr. Mondi Gungubele, Minister for Communication and Digital Technologies. Honourable Mr. Fish Mahelela, Deputy Minister of Tourism. Honorable Ms. Namalongelo Gina, Deputy Minister for Trade, Industry and Competitions. Honorable colleagues, ministers from Uganda, and honorable members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Ms. Lulama Zingwana, High Commission to the Republic of South Africa, honorable colleagues, members of Parliament, permanent secretaries and their representatives here, our distinguished business delegation from South Africa, Ugandan business community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My opening remarks are very long, especially the opportunities in the agricultural sector that may take 30 minutes. And the challenges and solutions we are providing for environment of business is another 30 minutes. So those who are eager for a cup of coffee, bear with me. I wish on my behalf and that of Government of Uganda to welcome the South African Trade Investment Delegation led by Honourable Minister of Agriculture for the second South Africa-Uganda Trade Investment Summit. You recall that the first edition of Uganda South African Investment and Trade Summit was held in February 2023 in Pretoria, South Africa, and was addressed by both Their Excellencies President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tuhaburwa. The two agreed to work together to improve the business operating environment between the two countries, including challenges affecting the private sector. The theme for today's summit is accelerating investment and trade between Uganda and South Africa. The summit will take the format of business meeting and platform that has brought under one roof trade and investment policymakers, identified key business communities, trade support institutions, regional and multilateral organizations from Uganda and South Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the summit's overarching objective is to provide a platform for the private sector, government and business regulatory agencies to network, exchange experiences and explore within investment and trade opportunities.
Protocol teams, please manage the photo session.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Did you know that our #1 value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment?